Today we're out in Desoto, Kansas. Cheryl is putting the final staging touches on a home that started as a project. It was a cash buy for us about 3 months ago, but we're getting it ready for market. So if we kind of rewind back to the beginning of this house, we got a call from the previous owners and they were looking for a cash buy, and it specifically needed to be a cash buy. We talked about some of the creative options, but that just wasn't in the cards, specifically because they were building a house not too far from here. And that house had a deadline at which it was going to be ready for closing. They needed the proceeds from this house to ultimately move into the next house. And so we had to work against that deadline. And so this is one of those houses, the buyers were really concerned about the closing. We had to meet those deadlines, and that's one of the beauties about KC Property Guys. When you're dealing with KC Property Guys, ultimately you're signing with KC Property Guys, you're closing with KC Property Guys, we're rehabbing with KC Property Guys, and then we're handing it off to Team KCPG, the realtors, to ultimately sell. So this is one where they needed a one-stop shop to come through with the timing, and that's exactly what we did on this particular home. Now this is a larger home. It sits on 3.5 acres out in DeSoto, and it's a home that had a ton of potential, but it also had financial demands from the buyer or seller's perspective at the beginning, because they needed some of those funds for that closing. And so we had to come in here with a little extra design and thought to be able to bring the value out of this particular property, and to be able to provide, you know, a higher than what we may have normally had spent on a home. But we were able to come to that number and work with the homeowner, specifically because this home had the potential. And so fast forward and moving to today, we've gone through a lifeline of a full demo from top to bottom, from flooring to paint to pulling out some 80s style cabinetry and bringing in everything new again, and even specifically creating a little bit more space within the design, within the framework of the home, to help bring out the valuation in the end. And so that's what we've done in this particular case, is we've swept through the whole house. We've touched it from top to bottom, from flooring and paint to granite to stainless, to pulling out some of that old cabinetry, bringing in the new once again, and bringing it to a design that's today is more open, spacious, light, and bright, and getting it ready for the next owners. So we really had to bring this property up to date, not only from the inside, but also from the outside. And if you can see a before picture of what this house looked like from a curb appeal perspective, it looks much different today. This is a great property. It has a lot of space. It's got three buildings, the house, an outbuilding with a garage and an office space with an upstairs, and then another she shed on the back side, but you couldn't see any of it. And so if you look at it from today, we've cleared out over 24 trees. We've trimmed them up, taken them out, and you can actually have a lot of curb appeal from the road now, and everything is coordinated in terms of its paint and exterior. And then on the inside, we've really brought in a lot of modern touches. It has a really nice 1990s 30 by 30 add-on to the back of the house for top and bottom. So we've added over 1,800 square foot to this house, was added at one time. And so we've used that space to help redesign and open it up. So in the master, we have a grand master with its own separate ensuite. It has a much larger shower built into it with 2 rain shower heads. We've brought the laundry room upstairs closer to the master to complete the master suite itself. We've opened up the kitchen a little bit to open up to the family room. We've taken some of the 90s style built-in cabinetries out because it was kind of impeding on the space, to open up the basement and the rec room. And then we tie it all together with, again, our new flooring, our new paint, our granite, our stainless, new roof. Everything has been touched on this house to ultimately get it to the point where it's ready for the next generational family. And now we're in the final steps of the house. We're walking through and finishing up the staging. We have the photos being taken today for the listing. Ultimately, we're prepping the listing to get it ready to go to market. And ultimately, we want to bring this house back to the next family that can enjoy it for the next generations to come. And that's what we do at KC Property Guys. We're rehabbers at the end of the day. So we go through and touch every part and aspect of a house and try to get it ready for the next generational families, down to the outlet covers, down to vents, and of course the mechanicals, the roof, the windows, the granite, cabinetry. We tend to touch it all. And so we're at the final stages to bring all that together to ultimately come together from our original intent with the sellers to get it to a valuation where we've helped them move on and meet their valuations and equity goals, and we're trying to meet ours for that next family to come in and enjoy for a very long time.